And national politics continues unabated as a day after CPN-UML inducted 23 members from the Maoist Centre into its central committee, the latter retaliated by warning its leader to return to the mother party within 24 hours. Meanwhile, the disgruntled faction of the CPN-UML is trying to pile pressure on the Premier by rejecting the decision termed as swapping of the positions, even as Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has tightened his grip on the government reins. Good morning, I'm Sarah Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. The Nepal faction says decision of swapping responsibility and nominating 23 Central Committee members unacceptable. The Premier warns of serious consequences. NC leader Ramchandra Paudel says party chief Sher Bahadur Deuba ready to lead the new government. Janata Samajwadi, UML and Maoist Centre mulling new government. Russian police storms into an opposition conference, detaining 200 people, including high-profile opposition figures. And Manchester City extend their lead at the top of the English Premier League with a 2-0 win over strugglers Fulham. The disgruntled faction of the CPN-UML has called for National Cadre Assembly, rejecting the decision made by party chairman KP Sharma Oli of swapping the positions. The Central Committee meeting of the faction headed by senior leader Jhalanath Khanal and Madhav Kumar Nepal decided to scrap the decision made by party chair Oli and carry on with their earlier responsibilities. The Khanal Nepal faction has termed the move of party chair Oli of seizing the positions of their faction as against the party statute. The Nepal Khanal faction called National Cadre Assembly to make forthcoming strategy, stating the chairman's decision of swapping responsibility and nominating 23 Central Committee members as unacceptable. The assembly has been called for 17th and 18th of March this week in Kathmandu. Members of Central Committee along with lawmakers of Central, Provincial, Office Bearers and members of Provincial Committee, Office Bearers of District Committees and mayors have been called for the assembly. The Khanal Nepal faction has said that the meeting would come with some decisive actions. The meeting held yesterday has chosen province in charge for the National Cadre Assembly. Bhim Acharya has been chosen as Province 1 in charge, Khanasham Bushal for Province 2, Ashtalakshmi Shakya for Bagmati Province, Surendra Pandey for Gandaki Province, Yuvraj Gawali for Lumbini Province and Bhim Rao for Sudur Pashchim Province. Likewise, Raghuji Panta has been given the responsibility of Youth, Gokarna Bista Student and Yogesh Patrai Publicity Department. Prime Minister and Chairman of CPN-UML KP Sharma Oli has warned of taking stern actions against leaders not attending the party Central Committee meeting from now onwards. The Premier, during a program hosted by Sister Wing of the party, invited everyone for the meeting scheduled on 28th of March this Saturday, while sending out the warning that any leaders failing to attend the Central Committee meeting was liable for punishment. Prime Minister Oli targeted his criticisms towards senior leader Madhav Kumar Nepal faction for not being able to attend the meeting on Friday. The Premier informed that the Friday meeting concluded with only the reshuffle of responsibilities among leaders and that no leaders were removed from their positions. The Premier cited his announcement about the meeting on 20th of March as an official invitation. Likewise, Premier Oli went on to claim that the party has remained unified. Nepali Congress senior leader Ramchandra Paudel has said that the alternative to Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli-led government has been worked out. Speaking at an interaction with journalists in Baglung, Congress leader Paudel said that efforts were to remove Prime Minister Oli and replace him with Congress chief Sher Bahadur Deuba. Paudel added that an alliance can be formed with Congress, Janata Samajwadi and Maoist Centre to unseat Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli. In a different context, Paudel said that political leaders should be guided by what he said, right conduct to lead the nation towards the right path of development and prosperity. The Janata Samajwadi Party, which currently holds the top card of the formation of the new government, has intensified discussions with other parties. The leaders of the Janata Samajwadi Party have held discussions with the Maoist Centre on the issue of power equation. The Samajwadi Party leaders reached the head office of the Maoist Centre in Paris, Tada to discuss the new equations. The meeting, however, remained indecisive despite the 2-hour-long discussion. The Samajwadi leaders had also held a meeting with the main opposition, Nepali Congress, on Friday on the issue of the new government. Meanwhile, a faction of the party has continued with the political parleys with the government. It's been over a year since a graft case was filed against people who were involved in the now infamous 113 Ropani Lalita Niwas land scam in the capital's Balbatar. There's a legal provision of dismissing the ownership of any government land transferred to an individual. However, the government's delay in implementing the legal provision has resulted in the hegemony of these land encroachers, many of whom are high-profile government officials. The Commission for Investigation of Abuse of Authority had filed a corruption case at the Special Court on 4th of February 2017 after it came to the light that 113 out of 285 ropanis of land at Lalita Niwas had been encroached by land mafias by influencing political leaders and government officials. The Commission had made 175 individuals as defendants, including the encroachers and the ones helping in the process. Despite the report being submitted by the committee coordinated by former Secretary Sharada Prasad Trital some 2 years ago and the case filed by CIAA just over a year ago, the encroached lands have not been brought back to the government's name. Instead, the encroachers have constructed commercial buildings on the government land, while Bhatbadini supermarket has been operating the land as a go-down, making millions of income through its business, while the owner of the supermarket, Min Bahadur Gurung, and his family members have been visiting the special court on the allegation of land encroachment. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Land Reform and Management and other offices under its jurisdiction have been playing blind on the issue. Despite legal provision to scrap any such transfer of the government land in the name of private individuals, a slack approach by the government has further boosted the confidence of these land mafias and encroachers. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked the local residents in Parvat why have the locally formed disaster management committees failed to take actions for prevention of natural disasters. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
मलाई दुख्छ त्यसलाई दुख्छ मलाई निर्लाग्दा त्यसलाई निर्लाग्छ मलाई भोक लाग्दा त्यसलाई भोक लाग्छ सबै यस्तो किसिमको जागृति आउनु पर्छ
आफ्ना आफ्नै मान्छे परेका चाँडो गर्छन् अब आफ्नो मान्छे त्यहाँ छैन भनेदेखि उनीहरूले अलिकति पिल्छन्
पैसा खानको लागि समिति हो रियल काम गर्ने समिति त भङ्गुदै हुँदैन स्थानीय तहमा
सम्पूर्ण ठाउँमा चाहिँ अवलोकन गर्नु पर्यो पहिला गएर
गरेका छौं पनि भनेका छन् होला कागजमा त तर चाहिँ जनताहरू चेतनशील हुन सकेनन् जनताहरू चेतनशील नभएको हुनाले नभए जस्तो देखियो
It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. Here's the question: why have encroachers remained dominant on the government land at Balbatar? Your options are A. Government's ignorance, B. Hegemony of encroachers, and C. Procedural hassles. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.